If you want to practice all of the new PTE questions using artificial intelligence on an online portal that has a similar marking to your real PTE exam, head over to masterpte.com.au to create a free account. Here, you can practice all 4 sections separately and receive instant feedback for all of your speaking, writing, reading, and listening. You can also view and compare your answers with others who have already succeeded in achieving a high score. Download 9090 Band's template for speaking, writing, and listening. Take mock test, receive instant result, overall feedback, and in-depth analysis which helps you pinpoint exactly where you lose points. masterpte.com.au, the best PTE practice software in the world.
Small languages are dying out due to globalization and urbanizations. Global languages such as English has taken place of many small languages. People have been moving to urban areas where it is hard for small languages to survive. Some small languages can now only survive in some remote, isolated islands. As the world population growth, the aging population has become more serious. Aging percentage in the US is now 13% and is expected to be 23% in 2030. The situation is the same in Japan and Germany. There will be more than 20% of the German population aged over 65 years old in 2030. Aging problem is related to industrialization. But Aristotle says the reason we need rhetoric is we have to be able to use it. To use rhetoric influence the ramble, we try to get them to understand the truth. Is the body, right? Truth is the spirit, is the soul, is abstract. It doesn't have a body. It's not particular. If you want to get somebody to the truth, you might have to use some kind of tricks. Right? Because most people are not sound and can see the truth. That's what we think. Most people are rambles. Really. Only the educated be erudite are actually capable of seeing the truth. If you want to get the general mass there, you may have to do a little bit. So Aristotle is rhetoric. Rhetoric is something that is used to influence people. Right? And it's a kind of mentally promised logic. Happiness comes from the frequency and quality of social relation. The higher the frequency, the more happiness relations with friends and family and others produce. It is not sure why social relation is correlated with happiness. But there's evidence that when people feel more satisfied with their social relations, they will feel happier. In turn, when people feel happier, they will get more satisfied with social relations. Happy people tend to be social more with friends and have more interaction between family. Some people wonder if their social activities make them happier or their happy personalities drive them to be social more with their friends and families. The lecture is about the community service worker in India. Diseases, such as HIV, are difficult to control. Training is essential for workers to understand the precaution knowledge and prevent disease from spreading. Some large hospitals and organizations provide consultations. There are quarterly meetings to provide training and consultation to people in the program. They would know the service and how to prevent catching the diseases. The training is provided by professionals in hospital and weekly meetings are held to follow up and give consultation. The difference between science and scientist is mentioned. The interviewee's inclination towards scientists is also mentioned. A man interviewed says that he does not like science very much, and science is like furniture. Scientists can tell the story and do research about happy family. Scientists can propose questions to find what is true. This lecture compares the conditions on the Earth and Mars, as well as the habitability of Mars. There are some similarities such as polar caps, atmospheres and water climate. But Mars and the Earth also have lots of difference. Even the most inhabitable areas on the Earth are way different from those on Mars. The lecture also describes different forms of water hydrology on the surface and underground of the Earth and Mars.
During this time, my goals are going to be to talk about the phenomenon that we may share in part with other animals and our language, and that is emotion. And also talk about some new technology, brain imaging, functional magnetic imaging, and we try to answer some very old questions about how does motivation and emotion work. I'm going to put you with the scenario first, and some of you may be familiar with it. This was developed by Pavlov over a century ago. And in this scenario, the dog presented with the sound. The dog waits and then feeds food powder, and this happened repeatedly. Things starts to happen in the middle of the experiment there. Interesting things start to happen here. Pavlov's study was on the salivation of the dog. The salivation increases more time to paralyzes. But other things happen here too. You have a dog move around here more. All kinds of things are going on here. What we are trying to capture was the experiment going on to describe today what is going on in the brain to generate that state, which is called competitive state. But you can also think about state in terms of how the dog's feeling layer, how you are feeling about eating lunch today.
In today's lecture, we will talk about the overweight problem. There are 20% of children today have overweight problems, which bring the heart diseases are more and more common in children. The smallest is 5 years old. This situation makes the heart attack and other health problems become earlier and earlier. This issue needs to be solved because the overweight problems will be in more serious situations such as diabetes type 2 and blindness. According to data collected by WWF, more than one-third of resources on the Earth have been consumed by people during the past 3 decades. Ecological footprint is to calculate how much land does each resident needs, measured with the unit, global hectare. An average of 1.8 global hectares is needed by an individual, which means a total of 11.8 billion global hectares is needed. The average lifespan of mankind have increased significantly. If everyone consumes resources like those in Australia, we will need at least 2 planets as resources by 2050.
If you want to practice all of the new PTE questions using artificial intelligence on an online portal that has a similar marking to your real PTE exam, head over to masterpte.com.au to create a free account. Here, you can practice all 4 sections separately and receive instant feedback for all of your speaking, writing, reading, and listening. You can also view and compare your answers with others who have already succeeded in achieving a high score. Download 9090 Band's template for speaking, writing, and listening. Take mock test, receive instant result, overall feedback, and in-depth analysis which helps you pinpoint exactly where you lose points. Master PTE.com.au, the best PTE practice software in the world.